All right, save the world home base status report. All right. All right, here we go by the Fortnite team. What's up, commanders, recruits? We have a love storm incoming. Major Oswald. The no dancing quest line. Major Oswald will not allow home base to suffer at the hands of the enemy. Dreaded love storm. Operation Broken Hearts begins at 08 right now. Defeat home base's most prominent enemy to unlock Stoneheart Pharaoh. Who is home base's most prominent enemy? Is that the Storm King? Leave Stoneheart Pharaoh, leave love to the professionals. The standard perk is Cupid's Arrow. On bow hit, arrow splinters, dealing 20% damage to nearby targets. Okay. Commander perk is Cupid's Arrow. Interesting. On bow hit, so they actually had planned, I guess, to have some of the bows with some of these characters, maybe. All right, so war games. Major Oswald. So Major Oswald must be the guy that is there at war games. Major Oswald's war games drills are back in full effect. Revisit your Storm Shield bases and test your defenses against some destructive and challenging simulations. Complete both daily and weekly quests to earn your haul of event tickets, goal banners, evolution materials, and perk rewards. So they've really apparently revamped war games to not only give event tickets. Looks like daily and weekly. I wonder if they would be repeatable, but that's definitely a plus. I mean, War Games definitely needs a reboot. We've got the Dashing Hawk. Follow your heart to Hawk. Dashing Hawk. Standard perk, absolutely stunning. Lefty and righty shots have a 37.5% chance to stun the target for 2 seconds. The commander perk, absolutely stunning. Lefty and righty shots have 37.5% chance to stun the target for 2 seconds. Additionally, lefty and righty damage is increased by 100% against stunned targets. So, that's pretty cool. It's a different variation on the lefty righty. And this is really exciting. Besides the skin up here, which I was really excited about, Stoneheart Pharaoh, which I did not get in BR, I'm excited to have her in Save the World. This love song bow looks really cool. So this is actually available. Before we get into that, February 21st. So it looks like we will have that on Friday. This one I believe we'll have immediately. So the love song bow, make the Husks love struck with this new bow. Keeping the bow drawn past max charge will fire an arrow that stuns the enemy for 10 seconds. Weapon damage will break this effect. Does not affect bosses or enemies that have recently been love struck. So this is a kind of a complex sentence because it says does not affect bosses or enemies that have recently been love struck. So you could interpret that as bosses that haven't recently been love struck, but I think they meant that it does not affect bosses, period. And then they should have just said it does not affect enemies that have been recently love struck. So similar to like the frozen weapon, it's probably not going to affect bosses at all. That would be kind of weird to have the Storm King as a love struck. It should be interesting to see how that animation looks and if there's like hearts or something. So this is going to be available starting February 21st at 7 p.m. So that is actually, what is that? That's on Friday at 7 p.m. So that's when the store switches over. Question is she going to be available right away when the update comes live or not? So Friday is definitely going to be a big thing. Today, most people are probably going to be playing Battle Royale. We've got the Lunar Llamas leaving soon. I still need a lot of these for the Lunar Llamas. They seem to not have dew protection, so I still have a bunch I need to get. I could use my Flux to level stuff up for the collection book, but unfortunately, I'm gonna wait to see if I can get some of those characters. Um, the Might of the Dragon weapons and Chinese New Year's crammed into one tiny llama. Grab them before this llama blasts out of the store in the 12.10 update, which is supposed to be when they were doing the cosmetic updates. Both the lunar and the new llama will cost 500 lunar tickets. Use them or save them. The choice is yours. So I guess you'll save them like people do on previous llamas, but that must mean that they're not going to convert over to the new llamas. Um, Note, two of these were granted for players who were impacted by the early winter llama conversion, and any remaining snowflake tickets have been converted into additional lunar llamas. So if you had snowflake tickets, they've now been converted into lunar llamas. Um, so apparently, I guess everyone was impacted really if you had any tickets. So I'm not sure if that means everyone's going to get two. I guess we're going to find out. Um, so this guy here for War Games is who General Major Oswald is. I just realized that here. They General's Boot Camp. The storm is starting to throw some new mixes of enemy waves at us commanders. I expect each mission you embark on to have varied husk encounters going forward. We're also seeing reports that the nurse husks are making their way into Plankerton. Okay, I really like the nurse husks. Canyon Twine, stay vigilant. Smashers can't live with them. Definitely can't live without them. It seems they aren't charging until they are a little closer to our structures. Best use that to our advantage. Finally, some good news. Field reports show that sploders are running low on propane and their blasts are dealing less damage to structures. All right, so at least they've changed what were the most frustrating aspects of the game and are, adjusting that for us as well. I think the smashers is probably the most annoying thing, but at least we're not going to have our bases like completely destroyed. The question is Frost Knight actually going to leave? Does that mean that when the snowflake tickets have been converted that we're actually losing Frost Knight? I guess we are. Clips Corner, weapons. Some of the schematics need some major tune-ups, so time to fire up the forge. We've made some serious enhancements to many ranged weapons, most notably shotguns, snipers, bows, grenade launchers, and some of our older weapons. These weapons should be more powerful now. So you've got some of these other weapons. Now might be a time to revisit them and say, well, maybe they're worth using now. This is actually a good thing. Speaking of bows, I've tightened their strings so the projectiles travel faster than ever. I'm making some further adjustments to the boom bow, vacuum tube bow, and vendor seeker as well. I don't know if this means that they're in the process of making changes. If it's a work in progress or what's exactly is going to happen, but that will be good moving forward. Because I do like using bows. Oh no! Oh my God! The boom bow was recalibrated to have lower base impact, damage, and projectile speed, but now deals even higher damage when fully charged. Oh, they took my most favorite weapon in the game and now they have recalibrated it. That is awful. So awful. Oh my God. Like, and this really sucks because they're forcing people now to use these other bows because they felt like the boom bow was so much greater. And this really freaking sucks. Because I know that, I know G and Joe made the video. Like, why would people use why would people use these other bows if the boom bow is so much better? So they're taking the weapon that we like the most and basically turning it into trash so that we use the other bows. That to me is not a really good change because I don't like the long pull speed on these other bows. So that's why the boom bow was so much more fun to use because I could aim so much faster. So it's going to have lower base impact damage and projectile speed, but now deals even higher damage when fully charged. That is a horrible change. I don't even have to see it yet, but I already know that that's terrible. People are not going to be happy about that. I certainly won't. The vacuum tube, because the other problem is we actually have to use perk up now to go perk up these other bows when we don't have enough perk up to begin with. So now we have bows that we haven't fully perked up that aren't as good as the boom bow, but now the boom bow is not as good as these other bows. So that to me is not a good change, at least initially. The vacuum tube bow now triggers its lightning on hit rather than elimination, has a longer lightning range, only 2 targets. No problem. The lightning will now bounce between both of them multiple times as long as they're in range. I've improved the Avenger Tech Seeker homing arrows with significantly better accuracy and reliability. They can also hit husks at a much larger distance. Additionally, some small impact changes were made to the following: Retro Sci-Fi Assault, Neon LMG, Neon Assault, Retro Sci-Fi Pistol, Tiny Instrument of Death, Zap Zap. Fear not, I've made them eligible for reset in case the slight impact reduction isn't your style. Thank God, because I may just recycle these and use the perk ups for some of these other ones. Probably after we get feedback on how these go over well. But not happy with this boombo thing. They should just left the boombo be because it was my favorite weapon to use. And it's hard enough to get people into using these bows to begin with. I do like the fact that they've wrote this out really nicely. Whoever actually did these patch notes did a wonderful job on actually kind of making it very like a nice read through. So it does seem like so finally utility perks slots on weapons, for example, reload speeds, magazine size, durability, stability, can now be rolled to damage if you want to go all in on this husk. So okay, so this is good. They've actually added some of these perk ups that previously we could not access. So now we've got the ability to even like tweak. So I wonder if this is all weapons or just a few. I guess we're going to find out. But that actually is really cool because previously they could only be rolled a certain way. So this opens a lot of possibilities for weapons to be customized. And the fact that they're like modifying these older weapons is really going to introduce a lot of various gameplay, I think. People using weapons that previously they may not have used. Let's go forward with the traps. Let's move on to those underperforming traps. I've enhanced the damage of just about every trap with the exception of gas and broadside traps. Okay, because gas and broadsides were pretty good. That's why we were using them. They were extremely powerful and are seeing a minor reduction. Both are eligible for reset as well. Well, I mean, we have limited traps. I probably won't reset them. I don't like being forced into using other traps and reducing the other traps. Again, they're doing the same thing, which is reducing the power to force you to use the other traps. These other traps use quartz, which is a problem because we don't have quartz. I've had a pretty big breakthrough on nature traps. Turns out that you can put energy damage on them if you turn the capacitor flux just right. I hope we're not having to use flux onto the traps. That would be kind of toxic considering we have to use flux to get the collection book characters leveled up for the ones that we did not get in the llamas because they had no dew protection. So that would be a terrible change. Either way, this is the new standard option for our nature traps. I would probably put energy just simply because it's unpredictable when I would need the nature anyway. I've tightened the spring load on ceiling drop. Okay, the tire traps were complete garbage, so it's good if they've actually... I've tightened the spring load on ceiling drop trap tires to have a little more bounce off their release. This will let them hit multiple times. Take that, husks. So before it was like doing no damage. I tried a crit build and I tried just a pure damage build and it wasn't as effective as it used to be. So it looks like that the tires are going to hit multiple times for damage. So that's actually a good change. I did kind of like the tire traps because they were kind of troll and they were just kind of funny to watch them fall. My new favorite out of this change is the increased range to ceiling electric field traps. It's quite shocking how much stronger they are with this new range. Stacking multiple in an area will brighten up your day or night. So this is actually sounding really cool. So maybe forcing people into these other traps, if they're actually more flexible, is not necessarily a bad thing. Um, you know, I guess I'll go with it. I do like the fact that we can reset these traps if we want to. I'll probably wait. Um, you know, since they're already leveled up, I can pretty much reset them at any time. So I'll probably keep them the same. And then reset them if I have to, but I'm not going to change any perks because I pretty much have them the way I want. So finally, the anti-air trap was lacking some proper range. That is very true. I fixed that with a new range increasing perk. Great. So that's actually a good thing. So we're going to go to director's update. Well, commanders, I've had some things to think about during the business Wolf Dungeon Pack Extravaganza. What if this HUD was in other missions? Time to find out. Make sure you adjust your HUD settings for optimal efficiency. I'm not sure what that means. Heads up display. Does anybody know what that means? I've had some time to think of. I have no idea. Something to do with dungeons. I have no idea. All right, so going forward, there's a new way to perform batch recycles in your inventory. The batch recycle interface has a new auto recycle button, which lets you pick a rarity and mark all your pesky schematics. Thank God. It was like whenever we would pick up these, I actually complained about earlier today, where we pick up these schematics and we're not going to use anything below a certain level, so it's best just to recycle them and have the stuff put in your inventory. So that's good. That's really good. All right, so bug fixes, and this will close up the thing. And now this is actually in which version? I assume it's the immediate one, because we're not getting the other updates till the next one. Okay, so the Southeast Amplifier and Twine Peaks Outpost Endurance will never be attacked from the north, eliminating overlapping spawns. Southeast Amplifier. Southeast will never be attacked from the north. All right, so Southeast Amplifier. Southeast. Is that the Devil's Amp? Will never be attacked from the north, eliminating overlapping spawns. Or that's west. Southeast. I don't know. That seemed like I ever had that happen. Neon Sniper will no longer have a distorted scope. Thank God. That was so annoying. Crafting materials are properly returned when recycling defender pads. Okay, I think I actually had a problem with that. Weak spots are now working properly when struck by a pickaxe. Yeah, I think I had a problem with that as well. A button will now correctly. All right, so that's Xbox. Jilly Teacup can be placed in the collection book without being evolved. Okay, that's interesting. Most people are not going to collection book her, I guess, but we've got most of the updates here for Save the World for the home base status report. So that summarizes everything. Let me know what you guys think about the changes. I know that there's some things to be excited about here, some things that we'll just have to see. I don't like the fact that they've nerfed the boombo. I don't like the fact they've nerfed two of our favorite traps, but they have boosted some of the usability of some of these other weapons, and they've also allowed us to roll some of the weapons for different perks. I think that will definitely be a plus. I think it also allows some of the lower level gameplay to be enhanced as well. So that's definitely a plus. So let me guys know what you think.